Mors Kochanski, survival scarf, or in this case, bag. What is it? How do you make it? Stay tuned. Good afternoon. I hope you're well. Welcome back to Branch Preparedness. I'm Randy. I'm starting a new segment on my channel. It's going to be referred to as DIY. And these are projects that I try to encourage others to do it yourself. In studying not only bushcraft and being prepared, a lot of times we run into situations where you can't find that direct item that you really want. And so we're encouraged to really make these things our own. Take the time, research what it is you want, and figure out how to make it. In this case, what I wanted to go over today, when I first started getting into bushcraft, and hopefully a lot of you may be being familiar with it, one of the names that's going to come up is Mors Kochanski. He was a wilderness survival guide out of Canada, and very knowledgeable man. Unfortunately, he is deceased at this point, but his book is readily available, and I highly recommend it. If you haven't checked it out, definitely do so. A lot of bushcrafters you see on YouTube today, a lot of the ideas they share really came from this guy. Between him, Horace Kephart, Nesmith, or George Washington Sears, those three guys in the modern day are really kind of what spearheads everybody else, and everybody's takes from them. And so I want to give credit where credit's due. But in his books, or his writings, Mors Kochanski, he also put out a series of these little booklets, and I'm not even sure how many there are. There's quite a few from what I understand. But this one is one I was able to find. It's survival kit ideas, and it's just real basic things to focus on. But one of the items towards the back of the book that he references is the idea of a survival scarf. And hopefully you can see that. And here's a little bit closer view. And I'll give a more close-up view shortly. But this was an item, I think, between him and Thomas Roycroft that they came up with to have a multiple purpose item. So not only would it be a scarf for around your neck, but it could also be utilized for other things. A browse bed, an item to be able to carry things into it. There was just a wide variety of things, and I'll make a list when we go through the making of this, of some of the items that can be used before. With that in mind, when I read this, I went through the scarf and I made one. In fact, what I ended up doing is I took from Walmart a sleeping bag liner, and what we did is we just finished sewing up the sides, and it's pretty much the exact same things. So for under $10, if you see them at Walmart, like I said, there's a sleeping bag liner, get one. And I'll show it to you in the video part 2 when we get into the use of this. I'll give you a demonstration of what that looks like. But when I looked at this, I wanted to be able to find out, how can I make this mine? I wanted to be able to customize it with my needs in mind and things that I thought I may encounter. So that's the design that I will be showing you now. So mine, I unrolled it, as you can see. It actually rolls up pretty tight. And this is the bag. So instead of a scarf, there again, like I said, I made it into a bag. When I was making it, I started thinking of all the uses I could do for it. And so some of them right off the bat came into mind. You could use it obviously as a browse bed. Just stuff it full of leaves, you'd have a big mattress. Being made out of ripstop nylon really makes it versatile to a lot of different environments and uses. So that's one of the things. Keep in mind, if you design this for yourself, think about how you want to use it. So one, by using a hammock. So I put it on the ends, as you can see, these little cords. So that would allow me to tie it off on the tree. And I did the same thing on the bottom. So that's one use. You could use as a hammock. Also, on the sides, I ran more tie-outs so that this could actually be a stretcher in case of a real emergency. We could lay somebody in this and run a stick through these and being able to carry them. Also, as I mentioned, a browse bed or a mattress by stuffing this. Now, on Mors Kochanski's bag, what he did, he left an opening on it. So on the side for you to climb in. I personally did not like the idea. We played with it, my mother-in-law, when we were making this. I just didn't like it. That's just my personal preference. If he liked it, if you enjoy it, let's go for it. Just for me, I didn't like it. But what I ended up doing to try to encompass the same principles he was doing, I took on the end of the bag, and a lot of times on dry bags for sleeping bags, you'll see this extra piece of material that flaps over the top when you close it up. So that makes, when you seal this, and you can see by doing this, it actually puts a seal on top of the bag. So it closes that in. So this bag would be completely encompassed. And the only part of it that would be letting air in, really, is where this mesh is. Now the mesh allows me to, inside the bag, if I close this up, I still have a way of getting air. So that, you know, I don't suffocate myself. Also, in climate where you're in for bugs, mosquitoes, things of that nature, you can use this as a cover for your head, and also if you had to get in and sleep in it. So it's big enough to where I can make this into a sleeping bag. That's another item. There's also, by having these lashes on here and attaching them to like a Rowcroft frame, which I will show you in the next video, you can make a backpack out of this. So your ideas is really only limited to your imagination. So when you make it, like I said, think about it. And one step closer, or one step further, I guess I should say, when I was doing this, I said, you know, I've got this big piece of material. What can I do to make it even more versatile? So on the inside of my bag, I sewed this orange panel. So that way, for a marker, if I'm outdoors and I need a signal for help, I have this big orange marker that I can tie up and get someone's attention with. And I also know Tough Possum Gear has a survival scarf that he's done, and he's put this on the middle of it, and credit to him. I didn't take this idea from him, but I want to give credit where credit is due. It's just something I thought of as well, and obviously him and I were thinking about on the same page in regard to just making it multiple purpose. But I don't want anybody to think I stole his idea. I just wasn't aware of it when I did mine until after the fact. I've just seen that recently. So, but his is a smaller version, but he makes quality stuff. In fact, on my bag, you can see Tough Possum Gear. I have it in regards to what's on my bag. So check him out. Support him. He's an American company. He does great work. Like I said, I just made my own. So, with that being said, let's take a little bit, and I'll go through the steps of what the materials are. I'll give you a little bit of video showing you what my mother-in-law and I were doing as we were making it. Hopefully you will enjoy it. Hopefully it will inspire you to make it yourself. And like I said, part 2 of this video, we'll take it out in the field and see it in use. Hopefully it'll hold me up. That's my biggest thing. I don't want to hit the ground. It's pretty strong. But then again, I'll keep it real and let you see what it is. So enjoy the rest of the video. And again, thank you for taking your time to watch these videos. I've got a lot of content coming. It's just hard on everyday life. You know, life is going on. I'm sure you're running that situation as well. But just keeping it real, keeping it honest. So I hope everybody's doing well on this side. Please like and subscribe. Ding the little bell and look for more content. Again, thank you for joining Branch Preparedness. We'll see you in the woods. For the Mors Kochanski survival scarf, as I was mentioning before, one of the things that we found was at Walmart, um, their sleeping bag liner. You can see here what we did, and then we finished sewing up the sides, and then we also put a draw cord in there. So as you can see, this is actually wider than I am and taller than I am. And the reason for that is because you still want to be able to access to get inside of it, or we can use it as a scarf as well as you've seen. But what we're going to do now is we're going to actually using Mors Kochanski, his template that he shows in his little booklet. We're going to use this liner as kind of a template for that because size-wise, it's about the right size. So we'll pause and get back with you. Okay, so here we have the liner laying on top of the new ripstop nylon that we're going to use. So now we're going to cut it. Okay, we laid out the ripstop nylon and then put the original bag from the sleeping bag liner that we used as a guide on the floor and cut it out. I like the way Tough Possum Gear in his idea for the scarf, he put an orange panel on the inside of his scarf. The only thing his is an actual scarf. This is more or less the size of a sleeping bag because we want to be able to make this at least into a blouse bed. So now we're just trimming the orange to be able to fit the size of the actual bag. And then at the top you can see this is where the mesh screen will be for the bug net, and we have to cut a hole and seam that. So that's coming up next.
And be sure they leave enough to make a seam allowance.
Yeah. So hope you guys heard that. My mother-in-law, Gub, is what I refer to. She said, make sure to leave enough so you have a seam, so you have enough a seam allowance. So, okay, we'll be back with you.